My father used to race cars. I used to go to the Grand Prix or go to races with him. So ever since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, all I ever wanted to do was race cars. The consequence of that, all I wanted to do was become world champion. When you work for something for the majority of your life and it finally comes to fruition, it's a great feeling.
Alan's father was a very, very successful racing car driver in Australia. It's fantastic to actually also have Stan's car here on display as well, the Maybach Special, a car that he built himself. We're talking about an era where you could build a car and go and win a world championship as an individual maker.
The chassis was actually built by a guy called Charlie Dean, who was in charge of the R&D department for Repco, and the engine was sourced from a German Scout car, a Maybach, which of course now is a division of Mercedes-Benz. It's their top-line car. They put that together and they entered the New Zealand Grand Prix against BRM and Ferrari and a few other minor manufacturers, and they beat them. Quite a funny story attached to it, because on the Saturday, I think it was, Dad did a piston and he went off and went to the local pub and went for it. And Charlie Dean actually got a conrod from a Bedford truck, straightened it up against a lamppost, put the engine back together, got him, threw him in the pool or whatever they did to sort of make him better than what he was, and he went on to win the New Zealand Grand Prix. He was the first Australian ever to win a Grand Prix outside of Australia, albeit the New Zealand one. So we're now the only father and son to have ever won a Grand Prix.
So post Formula One, tell us a little bit about what you got involved with.
Well, I actually bought a farm up here at Glenburn, which is halfway between Yea and Yarra Glen. And I discovered the very first Victorian winter that I wasn't a farmer and I didn't want to live in Victoria.
So you did some more racing?
Oh, well, I went up to the Gold Coast, and look, racing's a very hard bug to get out of your system. I mean, it's something that gets in your blood and it's very hard to give up. So when I gave up Formula One, when I came back to Australia, I actually raced a Porsche for Alan Hamilton, who was the Australasian Porsche distributor. It was a 935 twin turbo, had about 750 brake horsepower, and it was like racing a 750 brake horsepower Volkswagen. The front wheels used to lift up. It was a really good fun car. But anyway, we won the Australian Sports Saloon and GT Championship in it. And then I thought, well, I'll have a go at this V8 supercar, which, you know, I mean, I enjoyed, but when you've hopped out of a Formula One and a Porsche, a Holden leaves a little bit to be desired. I think my best result was a second at Bathurst. And as a friend of mine, Alan Grice, used to say, open wheelers are for Sheilas. And if you haven't won Bathurst, you're nobody.
Yeah.